I didn't walk in on betrayal. I overheard a strategy.
The morning air felt unusually sharp, the kind that wakes you up before coffee ever can, and nothing warned me that my life was about to fracture. I believed routine was a form of protection, that predictability meant safety, and that belief kept me blind for years. Work had always been my anchor, a place where effort led to results and honesty mattered. I took pride in building something solid from the ground up, believing that stability at work meant stability everywhere else. Coming home early that afternoon felt harmless, even generous. I imagined a small celebration, a quiet moment of shared happiness. The house stood exactly as it always had, polished and perfect, but something about it felt wrong. The silence settled heavily, not peaceful but watchful. I paused before unlocking the door, sensing a tension without understanding it. Instinct whispered, but habit told me to ignore it. Then voices drifted through an open window, familiar and careless. I stopped moving the moment I recognized them. The words that followed did not arrive gently. They landed with precision, exposing years of deception in a matter of seconds. I learned in that moment that betrayal doesn't always scream. Sometimes it laughs. Every sentence I overheard peeled back another layer of the life I thought I had. The truth wasn't emotional, it was strategic. Plans had been made long before I was even aware I was part of them. I wasn't a partner. I was a placeholder. My body felt heavy, as if gravity had doubled. Breathing required effort. Anger came later. First came a shocking, ice-cold clarity. I finally understood why certain decisions had always felt controlled, why some things never quite added up. Nothing had been spontaneous. The marriage, the timing, the expectations, all of it had been calculated. Love had never been the foundation. I didn't confront anyone that day. Shock kept me still, but resolve was quietly forming. Leaving the house felt like escaping a crime scene. I needed distance before I could react. I sat alone for hours, replaying memories that now carried entirely different meanings. Moments I had once cherished now revealed hidden motives. That night I didn't sleep. I planned. Morning brought focus instead of despair. Emotion stepped aside for action. Before speaking a single word at home, I contacted legal counsel. Preparation mattered more than confrontation. The prenuptial agreement I had once insisted on, the one others had mocked, was reviewed line by line. What they had dismissed now stood firm as my shield. Evidence became the priority. Truth needed proof. On the surface, I continued living normally. My silence became a strategy. Days turned into weeks filled with careful observation. Once denial was gone, patterns emerged with stark clarity. Documentation accumulated quietly. Every message, every transaction, every single inconsistency was recorded. I learned how long deception can survive when it's enabled by arrogance. Confidence makes people careless. The confirmation arrived piece by piece, undeniable and overwhelming. There was no misunderstanding left. When the moment came to act, it arrived without drama. The confrontation was calm, direct, and final. Denial collapsed quickly under the weight of the evidence. Excuses followed, then panic. The agreement did exactly what it was designed to do. Protection replaced loss. What had been taken from me under false pretenses was returned through consequence. Security shifted decisively in my favor. The legal process moved efficiently once the truth surfaced. Facts don't negotiate. Public exposure followed naturally. Secrets rarely survive the light of day. Reputations crumbled where integrity had never existed. The network of support they once had vanished just as quickly. I didn't celebrate their collapse. Indifference felt healthier. The separation was swift and unemotional. Distance felt necessary. Rebuilding began immediately, not from spite, but from self-preservation. Stability was what mattered. The house felt different without deception in it. The quiet became peaceful again. Work thrived once the distraction disappeared. Focus returned easily. Support arrived from places I never expected, and strength multiplied when it was shared. Time passed unevenly, marked by progress rather than regret. Healing doesn't rush. Occasionally, memories would surface unexpectedly, but they no longer controlled me. The past became instruction rather than weight. Its lessons settled deep within me. I rebuilt trust inward before ever extending it outward again. Self-respect came first, new routines replaced old habits. Life simplified naturally, freedom arrived without a grand celebration. It felt steady and earned. The future no longer felt threatening. Clarity had replaced hope. I understood then that revenge is often misunderstood. It's not about destruction, it's about survival with boundaries. It's refusing to be used again. Walking away with dignity became the real victory. My silence proved more powerful than any outburst. What shocked everyone wasn't anger or retaliation. It was my preparation. The very agreement that had once caused conflict became the reason I was protected. Foresight outlasted manipulation. Some betrayals are meant to expose a truth rather than to break you. This was one of them. The life ahead was quieter, but it was honest, and that honesty mattered more than comfort ever had. Standing alone no longer felt like failure. It felt intentional. This story didn't end with reconciliation. It ended with ownership. Loss became clarity. Clarity became freedom. And in choosing truth over illusion, I reclaimed a future that no deception could ever take away from me again. Thank you for listening.